Good morning, good morning, good morning, beautiful people. Rise and shine. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. This morning, we're going to dive into this subject matter. We won't be into it too long, but it's going to be good, Miss Sybil. What's going on, Miss Cynthia? Good morning to each and every one of you guys. You're amazing, and I appreciate you guys for showing up in the mornings like you do. This morning, we're continuing our teaching series on this whole subject of look for the lesson. Look for the lesson. I love this subject. I think it's one that really every individual needs to take their time and look at and study and assess and capture what should I have gotten from this. And if you haven't been good at it up to this point, here's what I want you to do. Get better at it. Come on, get better at it. You can improve, man. You can grow, you can go, you can do phenomenal things, but you just got to give yourself a chance. You got to give yourself a chance. So what is the lesson? What is the lesson? And so learn from it. Learn from it. So this morning I want to talk about why we ignore lessons from history. Why we ignore lessons from history. But I'm so proud of this. I love what God is doing, and I have to show you this again. For those of you who missed it, check this out. Well, there you have it. Thank you, Coach Deborah. Thank you, all of you guys. Y'all are amazing, man. And early voting starts on Monday. Can you all believe it? The clock is ticking. I think it's like 16 days away before election day. And so, wow. Y'all pray for your boy. Pray for me. This is big. This is different. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you, Miss Jocelyn. Listen, guys, I tell people I'm surrounded by the best people on the planet, and I'm not alone. Come on. I'm not alone. So I appreciate each and every one of you. The big showdown, guys, for those of you in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, it's May 3rd, the night before election night. If you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I want to encourage you to come and check us out. We're going to have a great time together the night before election, and we're going to try to bring it home with a big win. This morning, I want to talk about the subject, why we ignore lessons from history. You know, sometimes we say we let it go, but the question is, did I learn what I let go? And oftentimes when we say we let it go, we are saying it in terms of, I pushed that behind me, I forgot it, I'm not carrying that with me, I don't want to remember, and I understand that. Okay, I understand that. But what I want you to know is, as you let it go, make sure you capture the lesson before you let it go. Make sure you dissect that thing. Well, Miller, it's very painful. I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. Well, here's the deal. Here's the deal. I saw this quote. Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. You find yourself, listen, you are more inclined to repeat a past that you didn't learn from. Let me say it again. You're more inclined to repeat a past you didn't learn from. You want to learn from it. You want to learn from it. It happened. It happened, and I'm sorry it happened. And some things happened. It was a good thing that happened, and you need to know that too. What should I have learned from the good? What should I have learned from the bad? There are some things that happened that was good, And you don't know, you didn't realize that was your secret sauce. You don't realize that that was your good thing. And you didn't learn from what happened that was good, and you haven't learned from what happened that was bad. Okay, but you've just been living and you've been letting things happen. You just been letting things happen. You just been letting things happen. And you got to hold on. Why did that person talk to me that way? Why did I allow myself to tolerate that for so long? Why do I attract that type of behavior? Hello, you know what I'm saying? Why do people believe they can get away with that kind of stuff with me? Okay, you catch that? Why do people, Miss Sybil, why do people think they can get away with stuff like that with me? Okay, and you know, I heard a term. I found it pretty cool, Miss Johnson. You may want to use this term. Put some respect on my name. You know, put some respect on my name. So learning from history should be a natural inclination, yet humans often forget past mistakes. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about the fact that we ignore so many past mistakes that we end up repeating them, and then we just say, "Oh, I'm so bad luck." You know what I mean? Watch this. We say things like when it rains, it pours, and I can't win for losing, and why things like this always happen to me. Well, here's what I've discovered. Here's what I discovered as to why we ignore so many of life's lessons. And I'm telling you, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. The Bible teaches us to be careful for nothing. It also tells us to study to show ourselves approved. It also tells us that we are destroyed often because of lack of knowledge. It says, in all you're getting, get an understanding. Did you know why? I just don't know. Hey, coach, I just don't know. Well, Joanne, you got to know. You got to do the work to know. Well, it takes a lot of work to know. It's going to cost me a lot to know. It's going to cost you a lot to not know. It's going to cost you a lot to not know. If you don't know why you're not winning, it's costing you. If you know why you are winning, it's still going to cost you. Either way, you are going to pay. Either way, you're going to pay. Now, what you can do is you can pay with the, watch this, you're going to pay either way. Okay? Now, what you don't want to do is you don't want to pay with the pain of regret. I wish I'd had. I wish I knew. Okay? So, what are the 4 reasons I came up with? Number 1 is overconfidence. Overconfidence. Some believe that they are immune to history's pitfall, leading to complacency. Overconfidence. Nah, that ain't gonna happen to me again. How many of y'all have heard somebody say that? That ain't gonna happen to me again. That ain't gonna happen to me again. That ain't gonna happen to me again. I'm not gonna let them talk to me like that again. I'm not gonna let them do that to me again. Overconfidence. Overconfidence. I want to bring that to the table because a lot of people think they're immune from it because they saw what happened and they said, that ain't gonna happen to me again. That ain't gonna happen to me again. Unfortunately, you didn't learn from it the first time, even though you've identified what was wrong. Even though you acknowledge that it was wrong and it shouldn't happen to you again, you didn't learn from it. You didn't learn from it. Now, not because you established that ain't gonna happen to me again as a statement means that it's not gonna happen to you again. It won't happen to you again when you take the time to identify, 1, it was wrong and it should not have happened to me. But 2, I need to figure out what I should be doing to ensure that it doesn't happen again. Somebody ought to say, let me tell you something. I feel this. Oh man, I feel this. I feel this. I feel this all in my spirit. I love helping people. I love learning, John Wells. I love growing. I love becoming in line with God's purpose and plan for my life. And I believe that I've made some huge mistakes. I love the Lord and God's been with me and He's favored me and He's brought me a long way. But as I look back over my life, I realize I didn't learn from all of the lessons that I should have learned. And you could live a long time having a lot of experience and not having learned the lessons you should have learned. And that right there, that right there shifts things. It brings us into a place where it causes us to go from issues to issues. So overconfidence is an issue. That ain't gonna happen to me again. And behold, it happened again. Oh, that ain't gonna happen to me again. And behold, it happened again. You gotta stop and you gotta pause and you gotta realize, not because you say it's not gonna happen again, mean it won't happen again. Number two is ignorance. Ignorance. Number two is ignorance. Lack of awareness or understanding about history's events. Okay? You got to capture, what is it that I don't know? Now, here's the deal. Even though you say it won't happen to you again, overconfidence, you end up functioning with this whole ignorance. You don't know that what you've been doing has been hurting you. You don't know that what you don't know is also hurting you. You can talk confidently, but you could be talking uninformed. So you watch this. There's a statement that I've used years ago, and I say, Lord, help me not to make that mistake. And it's called, watch this, confidently wrong. Miss Linda, I don't want to be confidently wrong. What I call confidently wrong is that your mouth is hard, your tone has been turned up, and you are speaking like you are a giant of a person in regards to what you're saying, but you're wrong. So, Coach Della, my prayer is, Lord, help me not to be confidently wrong. People, Coach Della, often make the same mistake because number one, they're overconfident. Number two, they're ignorant. And ignorance simply means they don't know. They don't know. And so you watch people, he's about to get arrested right now. He don't know. He don't know. He don't know that's against the law. She don't know you can't get away with that. He failed to realize what you sow, you reap, man. He fails to realize you can't talk to the boss like that. Oh my God, you can't do your neighbor like that. Confidently wrong. I don't want to be, Father, in the name of Jesus, I don't want to be confidently wrong. Have you ever had to deal with someone who is adamant? Boy, they are strong. They are standing on their position only to be wrong. The unfortunate thing is, all of us have probably found ourselves at a place where we were assured. We felt as though what we were saying was right on point, only to discover, oh, I didn't know. Most people won't say they didn't know. That's the kicker right there. That right there is the kicker, Miss Johnson. The kicker is not only that, one, we're overconfidence. Number two, we're ignorance. We don't even know what we're talking about, but we're not even prepared to accept that I was talking and I had no clue as to what I was talking about. I love the fact that the Bible said, be slow to speak and swift to hear. It encourages us to study to show ourselves approved. Listen, being able to properly represent ourselves with situations that we're having to deal with, and not only based on how we feel, because a lot of times how we feel is limited. You don't have the full picture. And so you're more in your emotions than you're in the facts. If you were to capture the facts, you won't be so much in your emotions. I made that agreement without thinking. Sometimes you got to make that conclusion. I made that agreement without reading the fine print. I made that agreement without praying. Hello? Anybody's ever been there before? I made that agreement too fast. I made that judgment too fast. I said no too fast. I said yes too fast. I got in my feelings too fast. When your emotion overtakes you, reasoning leaves the room. Let me say that again. Did you hear that, Coach Della? When your emotions overtakes you, reasoning leaves the room. That's one of the reasons why when you're in court and you get too emotional, they say, well, let's go ahead and take a break. Let's go ahead and take a break because we are going to let this person calm down a bit. Number three, guys. Number three, and I'm almost done. Short-term thinking. Short-term thinking. Why do we repeat the same mistake, John Wells? Because of short-term thinking. We talk adamantly like we have the facts. We're uninformed, but then also we fail to realize, Jamal, that short-term thinking has been hurting us. In other words, you forgot last Christmas. That's why you're making the same dumb mistake this next Christmas. You forgot last summer already, and that's why you're making the mistake again in preparation for this summer. You forgot already the last relationship you was in, and that's why this relationship you are bound to make the same mistake. You forgot the last, oh my God, the short-term thinking. You forgot the job you was on last time, and that how that, oh, these jobs, I just tired of how these jobs treat me. I'm just tired of these churches, how they treat me. I'm just at the last neighborhood I lived in, they treated me that way before. Coach Deborah, have you ever heard anybody use those remarks, failing to realize short-term thinking is their problem? It's like the people who live paycheck to paycheck. Oftentimes, short-term thinking is the thing that is messing them up. Okay, so you get to this point where you start to realize you pay now or pay later, and you have to look at, hold on, what is it that I keep dismissing that I need not to dismiss to allow me not to keep going through what I'm going through? Remember, this is not about anybody. This is about me. This is about you. Forget the pointing the fingers. Forget what your mother did. Forget what they did in school. Forget what the relationship did forget what the person did, your ex did. Forget what the boss did. Forget what the leader did. And ask yourself, what did I learn from this about me? Why did I sign up? Why did I not sign up? Why did I agree? Why did I not agree? This is all about me. This is all about me. Most of my issues are me having not done the work to ensure that I don't have the same issues being repeated in my life. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, number 4 is comfort in familiarity. Comfort in familiarity. Change is daunting, and clinging to familiar pattern feels safe. Oh my God, it feels safer than embracing unfamiliar lessons. So number 4 is comfort in familiarity. John Wells, we often say, Coach Deborah, we often say, I've just done it that way for a long time. Everybody know I'm going to say what I got to say. Everybody know I say no. They ain't gonna never ask me. I'm gonna say no, and you miss your window because you say no too fast. Everybody know you can ask me for anything. I always give. That's why you hurting as well. You can't say yes for everything. You can't say no for everything. You have become familiar with yes. You've become familiar with no. You've become familiar and with this current position. Well, I just hate traffic. Well, you don't have to deal with it. Yeah, you don't understand. I have to deal with traffic. That's not true. Well, I don't like when people treat me like this. That's just how people treat you. That's not true. That's not just how people, everybody's not treated that way. Well, they'll never pay me my worth. See, you've gotten familiar with a process or a belief system that is just not true. Your comfortability in this theory that you are owning is hurting you. Comfort in familiarity. You got to sometimes shake it up. Shake it up. You got to tell yourself, no, you know what? Shake it up. I've worked in this type of space all my life, and that's the space that's been disrespecting me. I may need to go to another space. Hey, is there a promotion somewhere? I need to go to another space. I've lived in neighborhoods like this all my life. I may need to change the type of neighborhoods because I'm not going to allow familiarity. Well, I've become accustomed to living in spaces like this. I've become accustomed to dating people like this. I've become accustomed to, as soon as my paycheck comes and my paycheck goes, I've become you got to shake it up. You got to tell yourself, hold on, I'm going to go live on the other side where I wasn't accustomed. I'm going to start dealing with people that I have not been accustomed to. I'm trying to help somebody. You've got to shake it up. You got to learn to identify, to move out of your patterns of behavior that has kept you where you are. Human beings, as I close this, human beings are creatures of habit. Okay? Human beings are creatures of habit. And what happens is we are more inclined to do what we've been doing. Even though there's a better way, we are sometimes not inclined to do the other way, Miss Cynthia, because we have become familiar with the way. It's not the right way. It's not the best way. The way is not helping us that we are inclined to be doing on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. Somebody say, I just eat a donut every morning. You've become familiar with this whole process that a donut is the way into your day. Well, you know what, man, let me tell you something. Every time I get a check, that's what I do. I just spend a part of it on treating me. I've heard people use the term, well, you got to treat yourself because you only live once. But you're going to be living a long time and you're going to regret having not think long term, and now you're living short-sighted, and now you're going to find yourself having pain in your future because you're not living right. So you don't need to blame anybody. At some point, I'm 48 years old. I got to start looking at the mistakes I'm making on a daily basis and start pointing the fingers at everybody else. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to now learn from history. What is it that I should have learned that I haven't learned that I need to start working on? That's my closing thought for you guys this morning. I love and appreciate you all. Thank y'all for showing up this morning. We're going to close this thing out as you guys are reminded, your brother, your friend, your coach, I'm running for election and I need your prayers. Please keep me covered. God bless you. Bye-bye.